Good morning. This is Desiree Duval, founder of An Empowered Woman and Homework. And homework is where you can live where you work where you live, anywhere in the world. And every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m., we have coffee and conversations about anything from real estate, land, to vision boards, and today, how to sell on eBay. And this is brought to you by our members. And today, our member that's being spotlighted is Frances Greenspan. She's an author and an educator and has a lot to offer. So good morning, Frances. How are you doing today?
Good morning. Great to be here.
Awesome to see you. So tell us a little about you because you have so much going on.
Well, I consider myself an eBay guru. I've been selling on eBay since, oh gosh, 2004, I want to say, and stumbled through like everybody else, not having anybody I knew that did it. And I just experimented and played, and a friend of mine kept saying, well, how do you know that? How do you know that? When I kept mentioning different things, how do you know that? And for me, I guess I just stumbled on things and learned things along the way. And then I attended what was called eBay University at the time, it was. And it was a weekend of uh, various speakers on different topics regarding eBay. And so I learned a lot more. And then a friend asked me to help her create a class. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to create a class too, and it was with the local city parks and rec. And mine got accepted and hers didn't. So that started my my class, and I started teaching back in 2007, and I've been teaching the eBay class in very up to 25 different locations at once, believe it or not, between the city's parks and rec and community services and the local colleges. And so now with the Zoom, I'm able to do it virtually, and it's wonderful. I have since recorded some classes and met a lady who also teaches how to sell on Etsy and did the same thing as myself with eBay. So we created a course as well that's available. And so it's both of them as webinars now. We will actually have a Q&A scheduled. I put in the chat some of the information. I can review it later. Um, but I got started selling on eBay because I wanted to make some extra money. I had lots of stuff around, and it was like, I just got to get rid of this stuff. And also, I'm an animal artist, and I did craft shows for 15 years, and I kind of burned out of that. So in the meantime, I did pen and ink animals. I had them printed on note cards, notepads, uh, prints, keychains, all kinds of things. And so I had some time because I got laid off my full-time job, and I started packaging my products. I had over 100 different designs. So I would put the notepads, note cards, and magnets in sets. And then I started doing auctions. I found I could do 30 auctions at one time without going completely nuts. So I would do that. And and then when I learned about the eBay stores, I kind of fumbled with that. I learned a bit more after going to that workshop the weekend. And so I put up an eBay store and just started adding to it. So over time, I developed methods that help others to make it a bit easier. Of course, going into eBay, it's ebay.com, sign up. I recommend that you uh, do put an anonymous ID as opposed to using your name as your ID, just for safety. personal safety reasons. Nobody knows who you are unless you have a transaction. If you're buying from someone or if you're selling to someone, that's when they really know your name and address. And even sometimes your phone number as well as the seller in case you need to figure something out. So to pay on eBay, it's with PayPal. And if you don't set up a PayPal account, it's okay. You can still pay through eBay with your credit card or debit card. It's just really important to understand it's fun. It's not difficult to buy. It's not scary. I promise to buy. I buy almost everything on eBay myself. It's great discounts. For me, buying on eBay is my hair products and makeup and that sort of stuff. And I can get it so much less than and easier because I know they have the color and the style that I want. I can just search on there, get multiples for much less than driving around looking for that particular item. But I do recommend in selling on eBay, look in your drawers, look in your closets, look in your garage, and maybe you even have a storage space that you're paying for the stuff just to be held there. Or maybe you moved and there's boxes you haven't opened in how long, and do you even know what's in the boxes? And it doesn't have to be brand new, spanking new. It can be what we call pre-owned. Just like the cars, we don't say they're used, we say they're pre-owned in the same way that our items. I know my clothing and changing of styles or colors and sizes perhaps. So I'm probably on my higher end of my pants right now, but that's okay. It all works. Time to go get some more. But it's really about just because I can't wear it anymore doesn't mean somebody else can't. I sell clothing, women's clothing, pre-owned, sometimes new with tags. Sometimes I have clients and I do sell for other people and make money that way as well. Although I'm not taking more clients, I promise you I'm not. But I do sell pre-owned women's clothing, and my clients have clothing that I wouldn't necessarily wear, and sometimes I don't really even like, but it doesn't matter if I do. If it's got a nice designer name or a known name, that's what people are searching for. Consider you're in, I'm assuming, and I know many people are not in Southern California, but I always say to my students, in Southern California, we're lucky because we have all the big box stores, and they all have sales, and they all sell the name brands. One of my favorite places to find things is in Kohl's. And I always would go to the women's area because I like women's clothing. It's something I know. And I always recommend sell what you know, because you'll know more on description, how to present it, how to do it. So with the clothing, I always go to the clearance racks and look for 90% off. So if an item is selling, I had some dresses I found were retail $130. Well, at 90% off, I paid only $13. But of course, with Kohl's, you have, coupons for percent off, 30% off. And then if you buy enough, then you get your rewards money. So generally, I save it all up and do it all at once. I had one outing where the retail value was like $850 and I paid $42. So there was quite a profit on that shopping outing. And then, of course, when I sell them on eBay, I'm selling them if not half of retail, it might be even only 25% of what it is. But I start higher and let people, I personally have all mine as buy it now or best offer in my store. But as a suggestion for beginners, eBay offers no listing fees for the first 50 listings per month. So eBay fees, there's insertion fee just per listing. And then if you sell, there's a final value fee. So the final value fee is approximately 12% of the sale plus shipping cost. So that total that you receive is what eBay is going to take up. I say about 12% because it varies depending upon if you have a store, if you, what category you're selling in. So if you use that as a guide, 12 to 13%, then just make sure that you're selling at the asking price is at least 13% more, because that's going to be your fees. I like to go through my stuff, and my preference is not shipping breakables. That one is just, that's my choice. You can get your bubble wrap or have one of the, UPS packet and add that to your cost, knowing that will be your cost. That way, my liability is not as high. But another thing is, it's kind of like the local shopping kind of thing with local pickup only. So if you have a couch and you want to sell this couch, you can list it as local pickup only and not deal with freight. I just don't want to deal with freight. I do what's easy for me. No point in putting myself out there and stop making it harder. So say I have a couch and I put it local pickup only. Then if somebody wants it, they pay through PayPal or eBay managed payment, which is another eventual payment method eBay is having everybody go to. But when you start, it will generally be PayPal. And PayPal does take 3%, approximately 3% also off the top. So your total fees are still around 13%, whether you use eBay or PayPal as your payment. So with the local pickup only, then you can get paid through your payment method, PayPal or managed payments, and they can come pick up the item. Now, if you have a couch that somebody in Ohio says, I've got to have that couch. I just went blank on what the name of the company I was going to tell you. It's You Pick Up, and it is a company that does pickup and delivery, and they bid back and forth. So you can get a local pickup company and do that. I suggest it to the buyer rather than me dealing with it. If they want that couch that bad, they can make all the arrangements. But it's after you're paid that you actually give them an address. You can give them a zip code, and that's close enough when you're talking interstate. So it is a viable way to make money, not only selling your extra stuff and people who want it. I suggest starting with the auctions. Again, first 50 insertions per month, no insertion fees. You're only going to be paying fees once it's sold. But consider the 50 insertions. If I have 10 items the first week of the month and they don't sell, and then I relist it, so now that's 20 insertions. If they don't sell again the next week, that's 30 insertions. And once again, the fourth week of the month, that would be 40 insertions. It's only 10 listings. So be careful. Any additional insertion fee would be 35 cents. So it's not really, high-end finances. If you want to just list everything, you never know what you're going to find. But you don't need brand new stuff. I encourage you to clear out. When I have men in the class, I tend to emphasize car parts, motorcycle parts, those tools, those things sell really well. And so you can really, people are looking for a particular part for a particular car for what year, whatever it is. I used to work with guys that would do that all the time while they're sitting at work, trying to find a particular item they're looking for. But I get, like I say, my makeup, my hair stuff, kitchen appliances, kitchen tools. I compare. And what I do when I'm not sure of a price of something, I'll search what other listings are already there using the keywords, the items that people search by. It's very important in your title and your description that you use keywords that people can search. So in your title, you don't want to put it's a pretty or a nice or a lovely, whatever, because nobody's searching for those words. They're searching for the designer name, the model, the color, the size. So just be conscious about what it is and how you're going to describe it. But you can get ideas by searching for it actually on eBay and see what other sellers are using. You can't copy other sellers' photos, but you can get ideas for the title and the descriptions and copy to a Word doc, or I use an Excel spreadsheet. It makes it easy for me. But I always do what I call my homework by searching the other listings, because sometimes I learn about what another way of what it's called or what it's worded as. One of the things that I do is using misspelled words and also another spellings of a word. So for example, I had a Scottish Terrier in my line, also known as a Scottie with a Y and a Scottie with an IE. So in the title, I put Scottie, Scottish, no cards, no pads, whatever it was. I sold them all eventually because it got caught in the searches. The other is a cockatiel. I have a cockatiel, no cards, and so I sell them, but in the listing, is it IE or EI? I know what it's supposed to be, but if my buyer can't spell, I still want their money. So I put cockatiel IE and cockatiel EI in the title. It doesn't have to be grammatically correct. I just want to capture my buyers in the searches. And it's very important in your pictures to relabel your images. When you take your pictures, and I suggest a digital camera as opposed to your phone, it takes better pictures. And it doesn't have to be a high-end camera. I bought a pre-owned camera for $25, a Sony SureShot, something very simple. And when you take your pictures, it comes up as, say, image123.jpg. So what I'm suggesting to you is changing the title to the name on the photos to the title of your listing. So Ralph Lauren navy long sleeve women's sweater size small .jpg. You can have up to 12 pictures. I suggest only up to 6 because middle America is still on dial-up and they'll never see your listing. It'll still be waiting. So each of those listings, adding all those words, dash, what I do with the clothing, dash front, back, side, close up, label. I take pictures of the inside labels, the washing instructions, all the content of the fabric. So each of those labels have Ralph Lauren navy long sleeve women's size small dot side, etc. So this way, in the background algorithm, eBay matches your buyer's search from those keywords in your title, your description, and the labels on your photos. So rather than paying extra to have your listings promoted, just make sure you've got those keywords that people are searching for, so you can reach the buyers that are looking for it, and hopefully you can sell them as well. So
Wow.
I'd like to open up to questions or information. Desiree, do you have any?
Absolutely. There were so many of them as you were talking. All right. So eBay, so it's been around that. How long do you know think it's been around? It's been around for a while. I think it's in
Well,
the
I joined in 2001, and I think it was as a buyer. I think it was up at least a couple years before I joined.
because I know that even my sons, when they were young, and they wanted to buy different, more Pokemon cards and more of this and that and so forth. I said, okay, we'll sell certain things that you have, and then that way you have room for more. So they would go and find their toys that they didn't want anymore. They had stopped using, and then they would sell those, and that gave them the money to buy more of the things. Then they started going to the garage, to my part of the stuff garage, and it's like, no, 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 you do your thing. And but then I started labeling, put a sticker on the things that I didn't mind them selling. And it was so cute because when they really wanted something, they would really just go around, is there anything else you want me to sell? Anything else? They would clean the garages. Then they started cleaning the neighbors' garages, their friends' garage, and then they would sell it. Then they all of a sudden, one of his friends had a truck, and then he started wanting to deliver. And here's these teenagers. I'm saying, you can't offer, like, you would charge $25 extra to deliver something. I said, you can't do that. It's too much liability. But it's something not only for ourselves, but for the young ones that have all these clothes and have all these toys and have all these doodads around. Is a great way for them to really, that way they know that in any event, they could always raise money. They could always raise, even when I moved, I left the house, the things I didn't want, and I told his friend to go in there and sell it, and he can have, or we'd split 50% or whatever he sold, including kayaks, including sports goods and kit and furniture. So that was a way that I can take what I wanted, and then he could do the rest. And he did. He cleaned the house out. It's then, I think I mentioned to you, my son, my brother-in-law does it almost full time. And what he does, he goes to the thrift shops. He calls it picking. I guess they call it picking, and they'll go to thrift shops in any city. We've been in Atlanta to Vegas, wherever we are. They love going to these thrift shops. They buy things and he sells them, and makes a lot, considerable amount. I'm talking about a couple thousand, $3,000 or $4,000 a month, and some of the things, it's like, it's there, and I think the price is high. He says, well, eventually everything sells. Have you had that experience where eventually, if you leave it up, so what is you mentioned, as far as if it doesn't sell in a certain week or 2 weeks, what does that seem to depend on? It's depend on what you're selling or the time you're selling it, or what would you attribute that to?
It's all the factors. Is it in season? Is it, is the price right? Is the description something that's capturing in searches? Are things spelled correctly? I have things like my artwork that it's just a matter of having the right person find what they're looking for. This morning I sold some note cards. Well, I've had my note cards up since day one. So it's just, I had so many. I had hundreds and hundreds of the same style. So you just don't know. I can't predict what's going to sell. Like I said, I have clients and I do take 50% of the sale for my clients. I have clients stuff that I don't really care for. Either I don't like the style, the color, the whatever, but it doesn't matter. If my customers like it, that's all that matters. They bought it, so somebody else will buy it too.
Well,
Yeah,
some people, it's a great way to learn about like he's into dishes and dishware and a lot of things I didn't have any idea of it. And he learned the different types and he learned the different styles. He learned the value of them, how much they would cost. And some things I look at a cup and it's like, wow, that's like $500 for that cup. He started off with ties. He had lots of ties. Again, sports things. You can pick a niche like you have as far as clothing, or you can pick a variety of things. What have you found to be? You say the clothing is because it's easy. You can just wrap it. You don't have to worry about anything
it's
breaking.
easy and it sells. Women's clothing is, um, I it's just one of the highest end. And if you know your labels, you mentioned going to the various thrift shops like Goodwill. I also recommend, there's a couple where there's one app called Garage Sales, and you can download, and then wherever you're at, it'll pop up by your location. You just set they'll know what location you're in. And that's a great app. And then another one, a site where you can sign up for email notifications, is estatesales.net. And that one, you put in how many miles you're willing to go. But now it's so many that are online auctions, and people pay to be on, have their estate sale on the site. So you can find things. I love going to thrift shops and you just, and yard sales and estate sales, and you just never know. You have to consider how shippable something is. What's it going to cost? Something to be, I use the post office 99% of the time because it's so much easier knowing ahead of time what your costs are going to be based on shipping products. And the post office has flat rate products. You go to USPS.com and you can order these products for free. They'll deliver it to your front door. And the flat rate boxes are the best deal in town because you can put up to 70 pounds of stuff for the same price to all US territories. So the flat rate products I highly recommend. And my favorite product is the Priority Mail flat rate padded envelope. And that one, I can shove a jacket in, I can put dresses in. It's incredible what I can get into one of those bags. And again, for the same price, regardless what's inside and how much it weighs.
And so traditionally, do you pay the shipping or the client does? And you're doing this to save the client's money?
When you start out, I recommend the buyer paying shipping. But do know how you're going to ship, because you need to put that in the listing, whether you're going to use the flat rate products or calculated shipping based on your zip code to the buyer zip code. And the calculated can add up. But if you use, if your item is 13 ounces or less, you can use first class package. And the first class package is so much less. So just consider, and you can purchase poly envelopes or padded envelopes. You don't have to buy 1,000 of them. You can go to, there's a eBay seller. It's Unique Supply. It's UNEEK Supply, SUPPLY. And they sell in groupings. So you can get, 10 of each or 30 of each or whatever you want, or a sorted pack. but it, it makes it so much better for you. Let the buyer pay. What I do, however, now that I know my rates, I know how much it costs me, I add that to the retail price. And so then I offer free shipping. But the buyer's paying for it because I've added it in my retail price,
Mhm.
or as low as I will go in, I should say, in the retail price if you're doing auctions. Just know your starting point. If you start an auction too high, you're not going to get that much response. But one example I use in my class is if I have a diamond ring and I don't want less than $600, then I'll put what's called a reserve price. So I can start it at any point, and the buyers start bidding, and all they're going to see is reserve not met if they have not bid up to 600 or more. And by the end of the auction, if it's not sold, then I'm still paying that reserve fee, which is kind of steep at 7.5% of that 600. So it's about $45. But I'm also not going to sell it for less than I want. So 99%, I don't use the reserve, and I don't sell things that are high end to that point. Although I did have a client's pair of shoes that went for $300. So that was kind of nice too. That was an auction that I had no clue was going to go that high. Then they were ugly combat boot looking shoes, but you never know.
Exactly. You know, the first person that introduced me to it actually was Ray Parker Jr. I don't know if you remember him from the Ghostbusters. He was a real estate client. And he said if he couldn't buy it or sell it on eBay, he didn't need it. So he would buy, his light bulbs or everything for his house. He would do that. He sold his airplane on eBay to a buyer in Texas. And the thing is, the guy came out from Texas to see the plane to get the plane, but he really didn't even know how to fly it. So he had to fly it back to Texas with this guy, and then he flew him back to Calabasas, California. So it could be but his children's clothes. And the thing is even my sister did. She would buy jewelry from the thrift shop. She'd wear it and purses and things, and then she would sell it on eBay, sometimes more than what she paid for it. And his wife would, as his kids, she would sell their clothes on eBay for either the same price or more than what she paid originally for it. So it wasn't necessarily discounted. Sometimes things are, you can make the same, you can buy it and make the same amount that you sold for it. So share with us a difference between auction, bidding it, and then this flat buy it now price.
So the auction has a time frame. I recommend 7-day time frame starting Sunday at 6 p.m. So it ends Sunday at 6 p.m. And most buyers are looking on the weekend, so that your prices that you'll get will be higher. Although I don't recommend on a holiday weekend starting or ending, or if it's Emmy night, Grammy night, Super Bowl, that kind of stuff. So avoid those weekends. And the buy it now, it's fixed price. And it looks like buy it now. With the buy it now, I have a pair of pants. I want $24.99. And that's what I asked for. With the buy it now, I can add or best offer. And so as a buyer makes me an offer, I can accept it, counter it, or decline it. If I have an item that's $24.99 and they offer me $5, I just decline it because they're not serious. If they offer me $15.99, I might counter with $19.99, just kind of meet in the middle. But and then the buyer can also come back with $17.99, it just depends. But the difference being with the buy it now it is 30 days good till canceled, meaning every 30 days, the listing relists until you end it or it's sold. So for me, um, being so busy, it's easier for me to have the buy it now. Plus, I have a store. I have 400 listings in my store. So it's easier for me to just make them all buy it now or best offer. And of course, with my phone, I get notices if I have an offer, if I have a question from buyers, and also when I sell, and I get paid. That's always nice.
So considering the cost, you say to relist is only 35 cents. The relisting cost is, that's the cost.
When you go over the first 50,
Mhm.
so 51st listing, it's 35 cents insertion fee.
Okay. And then you
And
pay sales fee, the fee at the end when you sell.
once a month, you'll get invoiced.
Mm.
And so you can set your preference of how you want to pay your invoice. And of course, it's going to just collect in that deposit of wherever, whether it be PayPal or the eBay managed payment, you add a bank account and they'll deposit once a day, once a week, whatever you decide. And it'll automatically take from whatever your preference is. So
Okay. And utilizing eBay's merchant account is the same 3% approximately than PayPal? Is it more or less or about the
the
same?
cost is about the same.
Okay.
It's there years ago, eBay will put it this way: eBay and PayPal were married and they got a divorce. And in the settlement, eBay had to keep PayPal as a payment source through 2021.
Mm,
So
okay.
we're now at the point by the end of the year, all sellers will be on managed payment um, rather than PayPal. But I like PayPal because I use it in my other businesses too. So, and I like paying with it. So I'm not going online giving everybody my credit card. I just give them my pay with PayPal, and then I can use my credit card with
Mhm.
PayPal.
Yeah, a lot of people do like that. Question about, it slips my mind. Hmm. Ladies, any other questions that you had? There was something that was just, you said it and I had a question about it. It'll come back to me. Hmm. Anyone else? I mean, anyone else have any experiences? I mean, we're going to open this up for conversation. So I'd love to hear the things that you've done or you haven't done, or you've known people have done it, or you're thinking about doing. It's an opportunity to, to share France's expertise and experience. So think. Something to your friends, your family, different ideas. Oh my goodness, there's something you said about the fees, and I
I don't
totally.
have a question, but I would highly recommend you taking Frances's class. I took her class. That it was so much wonderful information. I mean, an hour just is not enough time. It was a 3-hour class, and then she gives you a workbook that I can refer back to along the way. So that was very, very helpful and answered so many of my questions.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And was that, but did you actually, is it for you or for your children, or were you?
It's for me, but as you know, I'm working on a couple of other stuff right now. So it's one of those things that I am going to do, but I got to get some other things in order. I'm trying to focus now on the podcast, but I definitely will be using it in the future. And that's why I printed out the book and I have it already in a notebook ready to refer back to.
Mhm.
But I can handle one thing at a time.
Well, but the thing is, there's a lot of people during the pandemic did a lot of purging, and that was one of the first things on many people's lists, to purge out my closet or my garage and whatever. And again, I think that goes back to that saying that your trash is someone else's treasure. Is that how it goes? Something
Absolutely.
you think that your children's toys or things that you think, because my sisters also sold magazines, expired magazines. She had all these magazines from, years, Glamour, Vogue, whatever, that were like whatever. They weren't necessarily antiques. They were just magazines. And she said, well, I'm going to put them up there. She also had perfume bottles, empty perfume bottles. So these are bottles of perfume, not necessarily all designers, just regular perfume bottles that she used, and says, I'll just sell it. And she sold it, because again, it's just things that when you get used to it, you take the pictures, like you said, it takes a few minutes to get the pictures and you put it up there. And if someone does, it does. And if they don't, they don't. Um,
Exactly. It we get so used to our stuff, looking at our stuff. If
mhm.
you start looking at every other one, what if you brought it, moved it? Would you miss it? So it's just incredible the types of things, that usable things or decorative things. Think about if you did a search on eBay under collectibles, the types of things that people collect, like political buttons and clocks and watches. It's incredible if you start going through that category, the um, variety. I know, people had baseball cards and coins and beanie babies and what my friends, I don't have kids, and I say, nobody wants my stuff when I'm gone. There's just stuff. And my friends tell me they don't want my stuff either. It doesn't matter if you have kids or not. I had some china and I just didn't want to post it because like I said, I don't like doing breakables. So I found somebody that has a Victorian style event place, and he serves on china. So I was able to sell it to him for not much, but promise you, if you have pieces of china and you're willing to sell piece by piece and you have the patience, go for it. But I don't have the patience right now. I'm downsizing stuff, getting ready to move in the next couple of months. So I'm just trying to clear out. And again, some things I have patience, and if it's not breakable, then I'll post it. If it's breakable, I personally don't want to deal with that liability.
And I have another friend, and what he does to the storage unit sales, the
Mm,
auction storage units. And he takes all the things from the storage units, and a lot of them are appliances like toasters or toaster ovens. And many times they don't work, whether it's TV, whatever, but sometimes somebody wants a part from that. How many of us have like a toaster where maybe the button came off and we can't find that new? So he'll buy, someone will buy that old toaster because they want that button or they want that lever or they want that top to something that they can't find.
yes, yes. I
Mhm.
had some Corningware, and they were small, one person kind of little dishes. And within those dishes, I had a glass top that went with it. And a lady bought, she won the auction and then messaged me. She said, I don't want the dishes. I just want that top.
Mhm.
So, okay. So then I resold the dishes separately.
Exactly. Yeah. So exactly. So it doesn't have to be, we think that it has to be perfect or new or, working or of some value. And then there's always somebody else that maybe just want it for finish a collection. Um,
Exactly. And if it's very important, if it's not working, that you put that in the description,
Mhm.
that this is for parts only.
Mhm.
And there's plenty of things, like I said, watches, and if you've got vintage, older things that you've inherited, you'd be surprised what people love these kind of things. And personally, it's dust collectors, but there are but there's plenty of people out there that want, because they collect.
Exactly.
And you're always going to find a collector for things.
And another thing too is that for those who are retired and looking for that side hustle, or those who have young ones, again, teenagers, young adults who may be unemployed or not working right now, they can go to the sales, and buy things, or the storage units and buy things, or like you do, go to the stores and buy things brand new for sale at sale price, and they can create a business from that. So there's no excuse for no one to be able to say, well, I can't do any business. I can't work. I can't make any money, because that, even as a side hustle, again, you can do it in the evenings, you can do it weekends, and it's relatively easy. I mean, it's all done, like you said, transaction. Either they do or they don't. I think it just I think you just set it up accordingly. You know,
It, it's really, I say, important to know the items. The better you know the items, the more likely you'll be describing it so that people find it. Some of my favorite finds are like at, it was Marshall's. I went always to the clearance racks. I don't buy anything full price, even at Marshall's. So clearance rack, I found women's bathing suit cover up, new with tags, $88, marked with the little stickies down to $2. They were bathing suit like skirt covers. So I bought all I could find. I found 6 of them. I went home and did my search on eBay by searching advanced search, completed listings. I found those that actually sold and what they were selling for. So I put it on there for $29.95, and eventually at Buy It Now or Best Offer eventually sold them. But to me, it's the find, finding these things. The 99-cent store, I found brass candle snuffers, new in box, made by American Greetings. So I had the name of my cat. I had the name, the model, and what it was. So I couldn't find it. I did a search on eBay and I couldn't find it. So I Googled it and it came up as a fundraiser item. And well, what I didn't mention, I got 4 of them, went to the cashier, and she rang up $1. I said, I have 4 of them. She says, I know, they're a quarter each. I said, I'll be right back. So, so I got a dozen of them. I went, and so when I got home and I did my search, I found it I Googled it, and they were a fundraiser retailing for $13.95. So because it was off eBay, I copied the picture, the title, the description, and I sold them in my store for, I want to say $4.95 plus $3.50 shipping. Eventually sold them, but my markup was pretty good from what it cost me.
Amazing. Oh, what I wanted to ask you is what about for buyers and sellers as far as the ratings that they get? If the longer,
Feedback.
sometimes the feedback, sometimes people, look at how long you've been a store or how long you've been in business. How critical is that in buying or
What's critical is the number. And when you are starting out on eBay, in parentheses, there'll be a 0. So when you're buying, I encourage you to leave feedback for your seller so that your seller will then leave you feedback. Now, a buyer can only receive positive feedback. So your percent of positive feedback will be 100%. As a seller, you can receive positive, neutral, or negative from your buyer. Mm-hmm. And so I encourage you to keep things positive and help your buyer in whatever way needed so that you keep that percent positive at 100%. And sometimes people just wake up on the wrong side of the bed and you may get a negative. And so you can contest it. Sometimes it works. Sometimes eBay actually removes those negatives because they don't see it justified for whatever reason. Um, but I do highly recommend working with people whose ratings are in the 90 percentile to 100. And that way, I consider that number your credibility as a seller. So leaving feedback for your buyer is important because many times buyers don't realize the importance of the feedback for your selling credibility. And so you can also, after a couple weeks of sale, when you're beginning to contact via messenger, the messages on eBay, keep all your correspondence on eBay, very important. And ask them to, I left you positive feedback. I'd appreciate positive feedback from you, because you want to build that number. Again, I've sold over 5,000 items on eBay, and my feedback is probably in the 3,000s, I want to say. Not everybody realizes.
Wow, fantastic. So is there anything else we should keep in mind when working on eBay, working with clients? We've talked about the feeds, we talked about the postage, we talked about how to do it, different ways, either auction or buy now. We've talked about the different types of things to share on eBay, the pros and the cons of that. The range of things that people can actually work with and do. It doesn't take, some people can actually do it in like 3 or 4 hours a week. I mean, I have friends that do it like that's like their Saturday morning thing. They only spend like 4 hours a week and they're making a couple $1,000s a month. I guess it depends on the price point. I have another person that just sells magnets that goes on. Looking at your magnets on your refrigerator, all they do is sell magnets on the refrigerator from everywhere, like from places that they visit, from all these different things. That's all they do. So it goes right into a little envelope. And it's as simple as that. Either someone wants it or they don't want it. And the magnet sometimes is only like $1, but they sell it for like $10. So like you said, somebody wants that magnet from Oregon, Starbucks. So she did a whole thing on Starbucks. She started buying everything from Starbucks, and then they'll pay $10 to pay for it, and it's an easy profit, easy sale. Anything else that you think that someone that's thinking about it or considering either buying or selling should take in consideration?
Have fun with it. Yes. Seriously, just start with low-end items. You're not going to lose a lot. Look at other listings so you can figure out how to word things, how other people word things. It's not a scary place, I promise.
Now, is there anything that you shouldn't sell or you can't sell on eBay? I think at one point you couldn't sell animals,
Correct.
and,
Correct.
or beds. At one point, you can sell beds. At one point,
Anything that there's a whole restricted list. You can't sell alcohol or
cannabis, probably.
yeah, and I'm trying to find the right word. Restricted, racist or sexist, or these kind of offensive kind
Wow.
of things. No guns, but there's a whole list on eBay that you can look up of what's restricted. Easiest is just search, and if it's somebody else is selling it, it's probably okay. Louis Vuitton actually banned eBay from selling their items. So who knew?
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I did sell actually a Louis Vuitton purse and wallet for a customer, and it was purchased. It was, I want to say, around $500, and it was purchased by somebody in Paris. And I suspect it was actually the Louis Vuitton company itself checking that it was the real thing. So thank God it was.
Interesting. Because the ladies, any other questions? I see some things in the chat, but I'm not able to read it. Questions, ideas, thoughts?
Let me say, I do have a webinar that's available. I have it, I'll put it in the chat if you came on later. if someone can copy from the chat and repost it, that would make it easier on me. But I do have a webinar that it's self-paced. Um, I'm also offering classes through various colleges. You can always contact me at my website, and which is my name, franciswgreenspan.com. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me. Um, and I have got the webinar, I've got classes. I also have upcoming with another lady, eBay or Etsy or both, with a free Q&A. We're going to do April 17. And then we also have a webinar. It's 8 hours of information teaching you both eBay and Etsy. She got me into doing the Etsy. And I just had a sale this morning, so that was nice. Etsy is actually for vintage as well as handmade. So
Hmm.
I didn't know that. So
I didn't know it was all handmade. I thought it was just, mostly jewelry and things like that.
yeah,
So it's great to check those things out. Again, it's just perfect. It's just fun, and it's a fun passion that people can, put. If you want more information, ladies, please feel free to put your information, your name, first name, last name, and email address in the chat. And that way Frances can save the chat and contact you. She'll know that you want more information about her classes and webinars. And again, if it's yourself, if you've got a retired family member that needs something to do, stay. If you've got some children, adult or young children that need something to do and don't have a job at this point, this is perfect for them. Or if you just decide you want to do a weekend purge, it's just great. I mean, you make it just the idea of waking up every day and having different sales, having things sell on your phone. It must be like that cha-ching must be a great sound. Once you
well,
do
I
it.
used to do the craft shows, and I'd fill up the van and have to get up at 4 in the morning and drive to my spot. Hope that people that wanted my stuff were walking by. This way, I wake up, no makeup, got a sale. It's great.
Sounds fantastic. So any other questions or comments before we move on with our days, ladies and gentlemen? Any has anyone ever sold on eBay? It's like, no, no one's ever sold on eBay. It's amazing. Okay, well, Frances, you put your information in the chat. I want to thank you, thank you, thank you. You've inspired me again. If I can find, I'm going to find a young person that's has nothing to do, or a retired person to do it, because there's always things, and it's a great way to be able to get rid of the old to be able to buy the new. Things like you
Yeah.
said, looking at it for a while. How about selling and getting that new painting or that new bedding or that new whatever the case may be, kitchen essentials. So, and whether it's yourself or something that's new. So thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody, for joining us. And I look forward to seeing you soon. And until we meet again, be well.